And in this video, I'm going to be showing you a very, very fun belly dance move. I call it the diamond, although I don't think it has any official name, at least not one that I know. It's a bit tricky. It's a little more advanced. So I do hope you have your isolations down before we start this movement. But let's begin. This movement is, to just summarize it, I would call it a combination of a broken chest circle, a broken vertical chest circle, and a broken ummi. This movement. So yeah, if you haven't seen those videos, it might be a good idea to check them out. The vertical chest circle and the ummi, definitely. But we're going to go over all of the isolations you need. So starting with the chest, to do the vertical chest circle, as you may remember, we're going to combine a chest tilt. So stretching along one side of our torso, of the upper body, and the other side's going to contract. That will tilt our chest, making sure to keep the shoulders and the lower body out of this. Isolation is very important to this movement. And then we're also going to need our chest up and down movement here. So stretching along the front of the upper abdominals here and then contracting back in to bring the chest back, not dropping, never sinking the chest, just bringing it back to neutral from the side here. So also not going forward, up and back to neutral. And then we combine those two sets of movements, the tilts with the chest up and down, to make a broken circle or a sort of a diamond. So we would tilt on one side, chest comes up, tilt to the other side, and chest comes back. Tilt, up, tilt, back, tilt, up, tilt, back. We can go the other way, of course. Tilt, up, tilt, back, tilt, up, tilt, back. And we can also smooth this out, and that's just going to be the normal vertical chest circle, going both ways. So you can practice that a bit until that's clear in your body and in your mind. And let's go on and review the ummi. So the ummi, it's kind of a similar idea. It's just done in our hips and pelvic area. So instead of our chest tilts, we're going to be doing hip tilts or hip ups. And this is done by bending and straightening the knees, and also with a bit of an oblique contraction if you want to make it a bit sharper. So as I straighten my knee on one side, that hip comes up, obliques contract here, and the other knee is bent, and then reverse. And that's going to give me my vertical hip movement. You want to make sure that you have a neutral pelvis position with the lower abs a bit engaged, the tailbone tucked, to make sure this is a vertical movement and there's no tilting. And now the tilting is going to come in our second half of the ummi, which is in fact a pelvic tilt in and then a release. In, release, showing from the side. In, so contracting those lower abdominals here, and then release. You don't want to release too far. It's just kind of think of stretching out the lower abdominals a bit. Yeah, you don't want to crunch your lower back muscles. So it is a pelvic release to the back, but not too much. So try to think of keeping the spine straight as you're doing that. So tilt and release. And just as with the vertical hip circle, now we're going to combine them. So we're going to bring one hip up. Now here's where we do the pelvic tuck, contracting those abdominals. Switch hips, other hip comes up, and then that release. Hip, tuck, other hip, release, hip, tuck, other hip, release. So this is a broken ummi. And again, we can do it on the other side, starting with this hip, tuck, other hip, release, hip, tuck, other hip, release. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, if we smooth it out, we get our ummi, which you can also practice. So, those are the two halves of the movement. Now we're going to combine them to get the full movement. So, when we combine them, you want to think of kind of opposites. The chest is doing the opposite of the hip. So if I tilt, this is my left here, if I tilt my left side of my chest up, I want my right hip to come up. So, and the other way around, if I tilt the right side of my chest up, I want my left hip to come up. You can just try that in place to get the idea. So you're stretching along one side of your body. So this side is completely stretched, whereas this side is all contracted. The chest is coming towards the hip is coming towards the chest. On the other side, they're going away from each other. So that's going to be part of it. And then the same idea for the chest up and down and the pelvic tuck and release. When the chest is up, the pelvis is released. So again, I'm stretching here along the front of my body. All the abdominals are stretched. And then as the chest comes back, the pelvis tucks and all of these abdominal muscles are contracted. Yeah, so you can also try that to get that feeling of opposition. This move is all about opposition. So then to combine them, and this is, going to be a bit crazy to process. So we're going to, again, chest tilt on one side, hip comes up on the other side, and then chest comes up as the pelvis releases, chest tilts to the other side, other hip comes up, and then chest comes down as the pelvis tucks. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this, I think, looks really cool. I love this move. It's great to throw into a drum solo or something, especially when you get it up to speed. And you can do it fast. Let's go the other way. So chest tilt on the other side, and of course the opposite hip comes up. Chest up with the pelvis released. Switch sides of the chest tilt and the hip, and chest back to neutral as the pelvis tucks. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. You can try to speed it up a bit if you're ready. If not, go back to going at whatever speed is comfortable. But it is really fun to do when you can get it a bit faster. It looks really cool. And of course, you can also then turn it into the smooth version. So here doing a chest circle and an ummi simultaneously, but it's still the exact same idea. So when my chest is tilting, on one side the hips are up, on the other it's just smoothed out. So those are all different variations to play with, of course going both ways. Always important to go both ways. One side might be easier than the other. If so, I encourage you to drill the harder side. Figure out why, what's getting stuck. But now we're going to drill that with music. We're going to do both the, what I would call broken version, the sharp 1, 2, 3, 4, hitting all the points, and the smooth version. So first we'll do the sharp one and then the smooth one. As I often do, I will start out slow and then try at a faster tempo. And you are welcome to try the faster tempo yourselves, or to continue with the slow tempo, whatever feels most comfortable for you. So let's put on some fun music and try this move out.
that was the diamond move. Very fun, really great for working on those isolation skills. I hope you had a great time with this video. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel, share with anyone who might be interested. Thank you so much for watching and happy practicing. Happy